Teresa, will you do roll call, please?
Yes. Al? Terry?
Present.
Michelle? Kate?
Here.
Gladys?
Here.
Lauren? Juanita? Richard?
Here.
Julie? Here.
Check.
I shouldn't have to move that much.
The board welcomes public participation and asks that speakers please limit their comments to 3 minutes. Speakers may offer objective comments of school operations and programs that concern them. The board will not permit any expression of personal complaints or defamatory comments about Board of Education personnel and students, nor against any person connected with the Danbury Public School System.
Thank you. Now, at this portion of the board, we give the public the opportunity to come before the board with any concerns. Is there anyone that would like to come and share their concerns with the board and did not sign our sign-up sheet? No? So we move on down the agenda. The consent calendar. Kate, would you do the consent calendar?
I'll make a motion that the Board of Education approve the consent calendar, including exhibits 25-42 through 25-44, in accordance with those listed.
Motion made by Kate on the consent calendar. Could I hear a second? Second. Motion, seconded by Julie. Julie? Any questions? All those in favor of the consent calendar, say aye. Aye. Motion so carried. Since the donation was a part of the consent calendar, when we accept the consent calendar, we accept the donation, okay? And then we don't have to treat them just yet. We would like Derek to go out to the group that submitted the donation, really thanking them for their donation and how we appreciate it. Thank you. Do we have any educational representatives to the public works board? Seeing none? Seeing none, we move on down. Now I'm going to turn it over to the superintendent. The students, I'm sorry, come up. Why didn't you say something? Yes, thank you.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello, we are representatives from Danbury High School. I'm Leticia Cohn. I am the Board of Governors Treasurer.
I'm Delali Ricota of the Board of Governors President.
So currently at Danbury High School, we are in the middle of the SATs for juniors and they're currently testing. Juniors also have completed the NGSS exam, which is a science test they take their junior year. ML students completed their last league testing a week and a half ago, and then along with Q3 ending this Friday and teachers putting in grades. And then we have a spring musical coming up on April 3rd, 4th, and 5th. It's called Hairspray. The theater department have been working really hard staying after school to perfect their performance, and I've seen peeks in there and they're doing really amazing. And then every student's favorite, spring break, is also coming up April 14th, if I'm correct.
All right, we also have spring sports. They've begun, and people are very excited. We have the 30th O grade rally on April 26th and 30th. So a bunch of schools come from the area, and it's a really big deal and really enjoyed the event. Q3 is also coming to an end on the 28th. And some more exciting news, our robotics team has made it to Worlds. We have multiple teams, but all the teams with seniors are going to Dallas, Texas to compete. We also have the 2025 SNAP raise. Donations help lower costs of prom and just allow seniors to have more events at a smaller price. So donations are welcome and really appreciated. Our senior scholarships are also open and they're going to close in April. So students are ready to apply to many different scholarships. Our junior prom is going to be May 2nd and our senior prom is going to be May 23rd. So lots of students are very excited for those upcoming events.
Thank you.
Just wait just a minute. Board members have anything they would like to ask our students? I would say on behalf of the board, we appreciate you being here and speaking out and letting us know what's going on at your school. Thank you. Have a good night.
You too.
Thank you.
Hand the superintendent.
Okay, thank you. Good evening. Just a short time ago, we had a presentation about our budget and our ask and some of the drivers in there. And we talked a lot about all of the staffing that we'll be hiring very shortly to ready ourselves to open the new satellite campus at DHS West. And so, in addition to that staffing, we have our normal, we've got openings that we're looking to fill with for paraprofessionals and tutors. We're looking forward to opening that contract. We mentioned that in the budget meeting as well. That will help us with those recruiting efforts quite a bit. And in addition to that, our normal turnover that happens every spring, and that's just naturally happens in addition to filling, we're looking forward to filling some persistent vacancies that we've had on the books. So we'll have quite an aggressive hiring spree, if you will, come spring, probably one of the biggest surges that we've had. We're going to be bringing in a few agency support to help with some of the paperwork and the onboarding process to make sure that we're moving things along in a timely way, but also to handle just the volume of onboarding that's going to need to take place come spring. So as soon as we finalize allocations from the city, we'll have a clear picture as to where we can go with that. But we're getting ourselves ready this spring, probably towards the mid-April, end of April. You'll see a lot of advertisement, more so than even that we have now. We're looking to do a hiring fair. We have a lot of positions to fill, and we're very excited about that opportunity, and also kind of getting the word out around town so that we can attract some more staff for our great need. So we're looking forward to that. Kim could not be here tonight, but the next time that she's here, we'll talk a little bit more directly about some specific efforts. Just along the lines of other staffing things that we're trying. We have partnered with teacher residency programs in the state. We're exploring many of those to help with the teacher pipeline issue, and so many districts have signed on to take on residents that would work in the school district that would eventually become certified teachers and work for us, particularly in shortage areas. I think we have 3 special education teachers in the pipeline now, which will prove to be promising, and we have some articulations happening now with WestCon, and we're talking to UConn to recruit some of the teachers in their program, the soon-to-be teachers. So we're building those relationship pipelines up, not just in preparation for opening the academy, but just in general to keep those doors open so that we have a relationship with these universities, so we get better flow through. And we grab folks while they're in their pre-teaching stage so that they want to come back and work for us. So just a little update there on some of the staffing. The next item on the list is the updated 25-26 school calendar. And I'll ask Assistant Superintendent Kelly Truchas to talk a little bit about some of the tweaks that we made to that school calendar year.
Thank you, Dr. Casimiro. So just to bring your attention to, there was a few calculation errors on the previously approved calendar. If you look at November, the original calendar had a day count or a total school day count of 16 days. It was actually 15, which adjusted or pushed out our end of school in June. So we have went back through, made the correction to the November school days. We were just counting an extra day. I think it was probably that day before Thanksgiving that we went back and forth on whether or not to have school or not that day. And we've added that to the end of the school year in June, which moved out the date from the 17th to the 18th. We've also continued the 185-day school calendar. So there's 5 embedded or built-in snow days. So our earliest closing day, if there was no weather-related cancellations, would be June 11th. On the calendar you'll see in front of you, the last day is noted as June 18th, again for that 5 snow day embedded portion of the calendar. We also needed to make an update in September to Rosh Hashanah. The correct holiday for that is September 23rd, and that's reflected. And then lastly, we made a decision with our pre-opening day. We've always called it the day before school started, that it was pre-opening. It is the day that all staff, both certified and non-certified staff, are here. And last school year, we were lucky and fortunate enough to do a staff convocation, and we want to continue that. So we'll be doing that this coming school year and hopefully in years to come. And so we've renamed that to be the staff convocation and pre-opening. And it's important to us that that's typically the first day that a lot of your non-certified staff return to work, and we want them to be part of our district vision, mission, and really launch the school year in a very positive, productive manner. We've also noted on here for clarity the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, that the offices will be open that day, but school will be closed, so it's not an official school day. But for those staff that work a full year, or 52-week secretaries, administrators, that is considered a work day, and certainly people, because school are closed, if they would like to take that as a holiday or vacation day, can do so, but otherwise our offices will be opened. And then the last and final adjustment was to conferences. We tried to make the conference dates in November, so those are our fall conferences across all levels. We tried to make them contiguous dates so that they were not kind of spread on a Tuesday and then Thursday, Friday, and really make it through the end of the week so that people could plan accordingly. So there's 1 week in November for each level dedicated to conferences. 1 week for elementary, 1 for middle, and then concluding with the high school right before the Thanksgiving break. I don't know if there's any questions, but that was a lot of information regarding, we had to make a few changes, and then while we had the opportunity, we threw a few additional things in there, so thank you.
Any questions from board members?
Teresa?
Do we need to approve this? Yes.
Are other districts in our area starting that early, like that August 21st? I know it's how the dates fall, but that just seems really early.
It is a little early because of the way that it falls. I will say that when we're building the calendar, we do research other surrounding towns, and I think we are in alignment with some, and starting a little bit earlier than others. So it runs the gamut. I know a few years back at Advance had tried to do a regional calendar, and that did not materialize, meaning all the local districts would follow a similar pattern. But I think that this is in line with many of our counterpart or surrounding districts, but not all.
And I know we're different from them, I'm just, okay.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
The date is a little
That's what I'm
early.
asking, yes. Yeah. Okay.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
Thank you so much for explaining all that, Kelly. Appreciate it. Okay, DHS West update. So it looks as if, so we're trying to get some target date information as to when we can expect for staff to move in. And this is a fluid date, so we're not gonna, I'm looking at you, Mike, this is fluid, this is not permanent. So August 4th is right now our target date, but that's subject to change. So I wanna make sure that, we know that this is something that's gonna be, be influenced by all the construction being ready at a certain time and when we can do all the testing. So we're aiming for August 4th. During that week and during that time still, they'll be cleaning, they'll still be continuing to finish up some building projects, working on air balancing, testing our tech systems. We're looking to tour the building. I know that that's a desire of the board to get into the building. And it looks like the last Wednesday in May will be a good clear day where most of the equipment and the things that we would want out of the way so that we can do a tour that's safe and appropriate would be in May. But again, those dates are fluid and based on as the projects within the building are completed and are ready for us to take a look at, but then also to begin moving our supplies over. We've begun a lot of relocation meetings internally, so it's not just the Danbury High School staff that are moving over. As I mentioned in some previous meetings, we have 5th floor renovation going on in the science labs. We'll be moving many teachers from here over to the DHS West site, along with a lot of equipment, not all equipment, but a lot of equipment. We'll also be moving 43 Beaverbrook, 63 Beaverbrook, and what else am I missing? And CRC, the building across the street. So there's going to be a lot of house cleaning, a lot of housekeeping, a lot of purging, if you will, of old equipment and supplies that have been sitting there for 20 years plus as we look to move into the new building and occupy that space. We are working through one of the challenges that we have with relocation is moving all these materials that we need to order to open up the school. Because it's not just what comes with the building and the FF&E package, it's all of the instructional supplies and just the library books, media books, and equipment. To find a place to store it at, we have to order things starting now and have those shipped in time to open up at the building. And so where we put that, we're working on that. So Dan Donovan and I talked about working on a scenario where we have some storage containers on site at DHS. And so things that need to go there to the DHS West building will go to DHS, they'll check those in, and we'll try to keep track of the supplies that way, and then we'll have those containers moved over to the new site when we're able to move in. It's just a way of trying to keep track of the inventory and the slips and the invoices as they come in. So we're going to be working through that, but it's going to be a very, very, very busy summer of movement and keeping tracks of all the equipment that's supposed to be where it's supposed to be. So, Terry has a question.
Yes, Teresa.
I heard that the sign over at DHS West is going to be 50 feet tall.
50 feet tall.
Isn't there, was a recent zoning thing that was passed, or they were requesting a large sign for DHS West?
I don't know. I'll have to look into that.
It was-
That sounds very large.
I think it was this comparable size of the name Curtis had, they said,
Oh, at the top of the building?
or maybe it's up 50 feet.
Okay.
I just.
I'm saying, we're gonna have to look into that. People were worried about folks being able to find the building. That would not be a problem with us. But we can look into that. But if you find more information, send it my way too, so I can certainly ask. I haven't seen the final sign, what it's gonna look like. It was in the paper?
It was in paper because they had to go through zoning, and they told us that we better build a good school or have a good school. The paper. In the paper.
Okay. All right, so that's the update, so we're looking forward to that. Farm to School Grant Award, so this is really exciting. Some of this conversation happened in the prior meeting, but we won another. Ann Mead has been kind of working really hard on the farm to school angle, bringing in fresh food, organic food, vegetables in general into our schools is really important. It's something that a lot of us are passionate about, making sure that the kids are eating better and are exposed to different things and get them to taste and try things that are not normally outside of their palate. I've personally been to the school sites when they're doing these tastings, and so what they do is they take these little cups and they fill it with, I think one time it was sweet potatoes, but it had apple cider vinegar and some cinnamon and some butternut squash. And the kids are looking at it and, oh boy, what is this? But when they taste it tastes pretty good. And so it's really just about exposure and getting them to try some new things. And we did the same thing in a few other schools with different items that were equally as delicious. Some kids loved it, and we're happy they tried it. And some kids, gave the scowl face and was like, no thanks. Where's Where's my my pizza? But we're trying to expose the kids more. But the work and the effort and the planning comes through a grant. So DPS, through the Office of Family and School Community Partnerships, applied to become a farm-to-school institute. So you'll hear that term being used quite often. So we have a coach, and the DPS team focuses on the 3 C's: classroom, cafeteria, and community. And this is where we work with elementary teachers to really expose kids to the life cycle of plants and growing and eating healthier. It's all tied to national science standards, so there's a lot of nutrition and a lot of science involved in the education. But late in February, DPS was invited to apply for another high school grant and another high school team. And so, you know, as part of the application, we put forward our idea around the Green Academy and the sustainable living, and we have a greenhouse, and we're going to be engaging in more green activities. And so that curricular programming allowed us, they chose us to partner with as a result of that. So we're very excited about that. There's a 2-day institute retreat coming up in June where the team's going to go and write and do some more planning. And this ties into the last item on the agenda list, which is the Future Chef competition. So just last week, we had students, we did a Future Chef. It was kind of like an episode of Chopped at Stanley Ruff. And we had 5th grade, and a couple of 5th graders had to submit, all the 5th grade team got a chance to submit a recipe that they designed that they would cook if their recipe was selected. So we had 3 students who had stations set up in front of the gymnasium with tall hats, chef outfits on, all the ingredients, their recipe, and they had a limited amount of time to cook. While their entire classmates were cheering on with the cooking. They had to take their samples when they were done. They had to plate it in 5 or 6 different plates and bring them over to the judges. The judges sampled them, they rated them, and then they chose a winner. And if you saw the newspaper recently, you saw these just beautiful faces beaming with how proud they were to have cooked for these judges and just to even be in the competition. But it was so empowering to see these kids take this challenge on under a lot of pressure, you know, timed pressure to do this. So we talked about how successful it was, how good it was for the kids to participate in these types of events. And it was so successful and so well run with the support of our food service company, Sodexo, and support from Danbury High School culinary students came down to support, cheer on, and help with the prep with the students. So it was just an amazing event, and we're looking to scale that out next year so that we have sort of a chopped competition across, using the nutrition, using it as an education tool about nutrition and food, tying in the farm to table initiative. And then at the same time, I had an opportunity to talk to the kids about the academy that's coming down the line and opportunities when they get to the high school and the programs that'll be there for them if they're interested and passionate about it, even if it's just a hobby and not a career. So all good things to come. There's a lot of nice things happening programmatically that we're looking to scale. So I just wanted to share that was a special event. And with that, I think that's it on my list.
Okay, anyone have any questions for the superintendent? Seeing none, moving on down the agenda. Our standing committees. Kate, we're going to do community relations. Before we start community relations, I want to thank the chairperson of that committee, Kate, the superintendent, Michael, and all those that worked to make sure that we had the presentation set up to do tonight. Even though we didn't have the auditorium filled, we had people that came out and wanted to ask questions. So, you know, we learned over the time that when we put things together, people have reasons that they don't come. But we have to make do or at least inform the ones that are here. And I want to thank the superintendent and Kate for making sure that we did some type of presentation to the community. And I thank you for that. And Kate?
Thank you, Mrs. Cooper. I just wanted to basically say thank you to the superintendent as well for putting that presentation together. That was the Community Relations Committee meeting that currently have another one scheduled yet, but we will have that conversation or share, our liaison, and figure out what the next best time will be. Thank you.
Curriculum.
So we have our next curriculum meeting on April 9th.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Finance,
Thank you.
Mrs. Janelle?
Yes, I'd like to call your attention to the packet with the extensive notes on the minutes of the finance meeting. And I want to thank Kate for her great job in doing that. During the finance committee meeting, we discussed the February statement, basically paying a lot of attention to the large favorable variances. According to Mike Weaver, he's continuing to look at the reasons that these variances exist and make adjustments to get the statements a little bit more in line so that we know pretty much why the variances will occur. The other thing we did was pay a compliment to Angela on her excellent job to present to us a new format for the grant statements. So we want to thank her for that. I also want to call to the attention that come September, we were looking to have a seminar or workshop on board accounting, who's going to do with the CAVE or Ed Advance that yet to be decided. Mrs. Cooper thought September would be good because our agenda this year is kind of booked up. And I just want to make a PS to that. For those board members who feel they don't want to wait for September, CAVE a number of months ago did a thorough job on many aspects of financial reporting to board members. You could probably contact them and get their downloads of the webinars that they had presented. Thank you.
I would like to certainly thank Mr. Janelle. We don't get an opportunity to thank one another personally, because we always run here, run into a meeting. And it's very important that we thank each other. And I want to thank Mr. Janelle for his long service and devotion to the finance committee and those members that have joined the finance committee. Even though, sometimes we bump heads, we don't see things eye to eye, but we talked it out. And I want to thank him for his dedication.
Thank you.
Policy committee. Okay,
Thank you. We've not had another policy committee meeting since the last board meeting. Our next meeting will be April 2nd. You'll see that there are several of the policies that were first read on the last full board meeting are now on the meeting agenda for a second read. Thank you.
Thank you. Sites and facilities.
Thank you. We did not have a sites meeting in March. Our next meeting is scheduled for April 23rd. And as Dr. Casimiro talked, we are looking to have a tour of the academy in May. May 28th is the tentative date, so we're looking forward to that.
Thank you, Louisa, and thank you for your dedication and supporting the position as board vice chair. I certainly support that. At this time, I'm going to ask Teresa. Teresa attended a fair last week. Would you like to break down and show?
Sure.
Report on that affair, and we were glad that you went to represent the board.
Thank you, Gladys. History Day, the district competition or regional competition was up in Lewis Mills High School up in Burlington. It was characterized as the Torrington area, which we are a part of. And I sent everybody a copy of the summary of the Danbury winners. It was quite extensive. I was so proud to see that, and I thought I would like to share that with you. They do need judges for the statewide competition on May 3rd, and they do give you a good packet, what questions to ask and what to look for. They do help you out if you have any questions, and they are more than happy to help. highly if you can be a judge on that day. You meet a lot of interesting people. The students were so cute. The only problem was you can't grade on cuteness. That's the only problem. I'm glad I'm not a teacher. So, any questions? I'd be glad to answer them. I can put you in touch with the head coordinator if you'd like. But it was a hike to Burlington. Hartford, I don't think would be as bad because it's all highway. So any questions? Sure.
Thank you, Teresa.
Oh, and they give you these neat buttons.
We move on to our action item. I'm going to ask Kate to do action item A.
I'll make a motion that the Board of Education accept for second reading and adoption policy 5117, students' school attendance areas, as recommended by the policy committee and in accordance with exhibit 24-45.
Motion made by Kate,
Second.
seconded by Lauren. Any questions concerning the policy? Seeing none, all those in favor, could I hear aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? I so have it. Julie, could you do action item B? Sure.
I make a motion that the Board of Education accept for second reading and adoption policy 5118, students, non-residents attendance, as recommended by the policy committee and in accordance with 25-46.
Thank you. Motion made by Julie, could I hear a second?
I'll second.
Louisa, second. Any questions concerning the policy? Seeing none, all in favor, could I hear aye?
Aye.
Motion so carried. Lauren, would you do action item C?
I make a motion that the Board of Education accept for second reading and adoption policy 5118.1, students, homeless students, as recommended by the policy committee and in accordance with 25-47.
Motion made by Lauren, seconded by Kate. Any questions concerning that policy? Seeing none, all those in favor, could I hear aye?
Aye.
Motion so carried. Mrs. Janelle, would you do action item? I can't always see. D.
Motion that the Board of Education accept the 2025 February financial report as recommended by the Finance Committee and in accordance with the exhibit 2548.
Motion made by Mrs. Janelle,
Second.
seconded by Julie. Okay. Are there any questions concerning the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor, could I hear aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion so carried. Teresa, could you do the last motion?
I'd be happy to. E, revise 2025-26 school calendar. Motion that the Board of Education approve the revised 2025-26 school calendar in accordance with 25-49.
Motion made by Teresa,
Second.
seconded by Lauren. Okay. Any question concerning the calendar? We had a discussion about that tonight, so it really should not be any question. Okay. All those in favor, could I hear aye?
Aye.
Okay. Motion so carried. Down to G. We have discussion on the agenda, and we don't, if there's any discussion that board members want to bring at this time, they have the opportunity to do that.
Can I?
Yes, Teresa.
I don't know if this is the proper time, but I was reading. We gotta do air quality controls and HVAC inspections coming up. Another unfunded mandate from the state.
It is. We're responsible for doing 20% of the schools each year over the course of 5 years. We built that into our budget for this year.
It started this year.
Any other? report is very light. I didn't prepare anything for tonight. I just hope that we continue to work together as a group to make this district the best district that it is in the state of Connecticut. And I know that we're all at the table to honor and make sure that we do what we can individually. So we have a meeting coming up, I think it's April the 28th, 29th. Put on your calendar. Kara will send out information about that. Okay, we're trying to schedule it ahead of time so you can look at your calendar to make sure that we have a good board attendance at that meeting. Okay?
What day?
April the 28th or the 29th. I'll give you two suggestions. Yeah. So Kara should send out the info to the date tomorrow. Okay. Any other questions? Yeah. I entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Moved by Kate.
Second.